everyone, Kayley here, and today we're doing some short hair holiday hairstyles. On the screen today is my friend Serene. She also has a YouTube channel called Dress Yourself Happy, which is all about inspiring you to feel and look your best. She has a great channel, you should definitely check it out. And let's get into these hairstyles. So for my curls today, I'm going to use the Numi Lustrum set, and for this hairstyle, I'm using the 1¼ inch curling iron. You guys know that I've used Numi for a long time and I love their sets. This Numi Lustrum set worked really well with Serene's hair because of the heat that it has. So I went ahead and separated her hair from the ears up, and this section just has little short hairs, so my whole goal was just to get a little bit of bend to the hair. And if on your haircut these pieces of hair are especially short, don't even worry about curling them because the hair from the other sections will probably cover it up. For Serene, the ends stuck out just a little bit, so I decided to go ahead and curl them. And also make sure that you are wearing your protective glove if you're using a wand for this, because you want to be able to curl the ends without hurting your fingers at all. Then go ahead and let down the rest of the hair. Because she has a lot of hair, I went ahead and split this section in half again, and then I started curling all the hair away from the face. I did pick this 1¼ inch barrel because I like that it gives a soft, natural wave to the hair, and it gives a lot of body without being like tight Shirley Temple-ish curls. I feel like you have to kind of go a little bit bigger than you think you need to with short hair, that way you don't end up with the Shirley Temple effect. Anyway, I'm curling all the hair away from the face, and then I'm going to drop the next section down and do the same thing again. If you have less hair, you could do this all in one section and not have to do, the 2 sections like I did with Serene's hair. Once you have all the hair curled, then we're going to go ahead and do the half updo. I'm going to separate the hair from the temples up, and then I'm going to add a little bit of volume to this section. I'm going to add in a little bit of volumizing powder. This is the Sexy Hair Powder Play, and I'm just sprinkling it in sections at her roots. And then I'm going to go in and lightly tease the hair in those areas. Her hair didn't want to tease too easily, hence I used the powder, and with that, it worked really, really well. So I'm just teasing in sections, then I'm pulling everything back and smoothing the top out. And you don't have to go crazy with the teasing, you just want enough to give a little bit of lift to your hair, especially when you look at it from the front. Then gather all the hair together and twist it just a couple of times and bobby pin it in place. And that is it for the half up portion. It's a very easy half updo. And I like it with this really soft wave because it looks very modern and current, but still very voluminous and I think holiday appropriate. For hairstyle number 2, I'm going to go with the 1 inch barrel. You could also use the 3/4 inch barrel if you want an even more retro looking hairstyle. I'm going to add in some of the Schwarzkopf Crystal Shine and Hold Heat Protection Shine Spray for heat protection, and then I'm going to start with the section right next to her part and her hairline. You want the section to be as wide as your iron, and you're going to curl the hair toward the face. Then once you've curled that hair, you're going to go ahead and catch it as it comes off the iron and pin it in place to cool. Then do this 2 or 3 more times with the hair right behind that section. We're just doing it for this section because this is going to be our S-wave and we want this to be a really strong curl. But everything else we're not going to pin up because that takes a lot of extra time and it's not really necessary. So for the rest of the hair in front of the ears, you're just going to curl it toward the face. So just go in a couple of sections until all the hair in front of your ears is curled, and then we can go ahead and move on to the back of the head. So in the back, I've split the hair in half, and now I'm just going to focus on curling the ends, and I actually curled these away from the face. And then once I had this first section done, I dropped down the second section and continued on. I liked curling just the ends of the hair and curling them in kind of different directions because it gave a more modern look to this hairstyle, which kind of from the front is super traditional, so I liked in the back having a little bit of something different and a little bit more broken up. Then once you have all the curls in, just kind of shake them around, and that's all we have to do with the back. In the front, go ahead and arrange the hair that's kind of curled toward the face so that it curls just underneath the ears. And then on the other side, we're going to brush the hair straight back so that it looks nice and smooth on one side, and go ahead and tuck it behind the ear. I used a little bit of hairspray to kind of help it stay in place as well. This is the HealthySexyHair Soy Touchable Hairspray. It adds shine but also helps with the hold without being crunchy. And now for the most important part of the hairstyle, we're going to go ahead and let these curls down and then start breaking them up with your fingers. That way they're going to be a little bit easier to brush through. Then begin brushing or combing the hair back away from the face, and you'll see this wave start to form. Use one hand to hold the hair in place, and then you'll see that the hair starts also kind of curving forward towards the face, and that's the other side of our wave. So you can brush the hair forward just underneath your hand to help enhance that wave. Now because her hair was a little bit shorter, it was actually popping right up into kind of a pin curl right there. If her hair was even an inch longer, I would have coaxed it into being kind of this wave that kind of finishes out just under her jaw. But because it was popping up so nicely into that pin curl, I just went ahead and pinned it in place in a pin curl right there. If your hair is a little bit longer, you could go ahead and take that end down and incorporate it with the other ends. So now I'm just giving that a little bit of hairspray to hold it in place. Finally, I noticed this little bubble that I did not like at all, so I decided to go ahead and pull that back behind her ear and use a bobby pin to hold that in place. If you have like a pretty sparkly brooch, you could use that here as well, and that would be really pretty. And that's it for hairstyle number 2. I am always going to be a fan of an old Hollywood hairstyle, especially for holiday. I think it's just so pretty and traditional but glamorous at the same time. Now hairstyle number 3 will look good on any hair texture, but I decided to use the pearl wand attachment just to get a nice natural looking wave on the hair. So I just curled the very top layer of hair because everything else is going to end up in an updo anyway, and I curled all that kind of in differing directions to get this very natural wavy look. And I bet for some of you guys that's actually like your natural hair texture. So what I did first was to take the crown section of her hair and just tease it a little bit with the wide tooth comb and then smooth it out. Then I gathered it all together and pinned it in place. This just gives you a little bit of volume between the braids and helps it to look a little bit more updo-y. Then for the braids, I went ahead and did a Dutch braid. So I took a section of hair right next to her part, split it into 3, and then began braiding underneath. This gives the braid its 3D look. Then I braided in hair only from the front. So I picked up a section of hair right from her hairline and braided it in, but then on the other side, I just braided the hair normally. And then I just continued doing that until I'd braided all the hair from just behind her ear. Basically, I would just go until you can't get your hair into the section anymore, because once you get to the back, you're going to run into some really short pieces. And once you've gotten as far down the hair as you can, go ahead and secure it with an elastic. Now begin gently massaging the braid and pulling at it to make it a little bit bigger. You do want to be gentle with short hair because if you pull too hard, you could accidentally loosen up some flyaways, which you wouldn't really want. But you can see here I'm going gently and it really helps to volumize the braid. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm taking another section right off of her part and I'm doing the same lace braid, braiding under and then pulling in hair only from the front. And again, I'm going to go back until I've gotten a lot of the hair from behind her ear incorporated into the braid. Then I'm braiding the hair that I have left just a couple of times normally, and I'm going to secure it with an elastic. Then of course I'm going back in to volumize this braid even more. If you wanted even more volume, you could use a little bit of that volumizing powder that we used on the roots, and that would even help to expand the braid more. I had some product in her hair already, so it was volumizing a lot on its own. Now just go ahead and pin the ends of those braids over the bobby pins that we have left. Ideally, you'd like to overlap these braids if you can, but if they don't quite fit, don't worry. And you can see here, this would actually be a really pretty half updo all on its own, but I decided to take it a little bit extra and make it into an updo. And what I did was I took sections of hair that we had left down and I pulled them to kind of create a circle so that it looked almost like a bun. So I just kept pulling pieces and pinning them and pulling pieces and pinning them until I got the shape of a bun. Now if you wanted this to be a more bohemian looking hairstyle, you could pull those pieces in whatever direction you want and just bobby pin them and let the bobby pins be visible. I've seen a lot of short hairstyles like that and I think it's totally edgy and really cool. So if you like that look, just like pin wherever you see fit and let the bobby pins show. It honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. But this is kind of the more elegant version of that if you wanted to see it. So that is how I got the bun shape, and then once that was done, the hairstyle is complete. I think this hairstyle is great. I love the braids and I love that it looks like an updo and it makes you look like you might have like longer hair than you do, which is kind of cool. And that's it for my short hair holiday hairstyles. If you're interested in any New Me tools, this is a great time of year to buy them. You can use the code HOLIDAYMELTS to get 20% off their holiday collection, or Holidays with Kayley to get $89 on any set, including the Octowand. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and be sure to come back for my next one. I'll see you then. Mwah! Bye!